Let's continue our coverage of this absolutely incredible situation in which we find ourselves here, where a former president is under criminal investigation for a whole bunch of different potential crimes. One of the latest, very bizarre, it's not even really a side story, but details in what's going on is that Donald Trump bizarrely sent a message to Attorney General Merrick Garland through intermediaries over the last few days. And it's genuinely unclear at this point in time whether Donald Trump is in some way trying to tamper with or obstruct the investigation, or whether Trump is alluding to the possibility of taking some kind of a plea deal. At this point, I am not sure what the point of this is, but I will tell you what is known, and we can sort of go from there. This was a paragraph almost at the bottom of a New York Times article. The New York Times article is called "Trump Lawyer Told Justice Department That Classified Material Had Been Returned." Now, the top line of this about the returned material is important and it is relevant, and it also appears to be untrue and raises one set of questions. And that set of questions is, it seems as though Trump's lawyers really did say early in June that all of the materials in question had been returned. Obviously, the FBI didn't believe that because ultimately they executed a search warrant. And it does appear as though the FBI was correct in their suspicions that not everything had been returned. There's a question as to whether did Trump's lawyers knowingly lie at that point? Were Trump's lawyers lied to about the documents? We don't know. But that's not what I want to focus in on today. If you look at this article, and you start scrolling all the way down to almost the very bottom, there's two paragraphs that are very interesting, and they read as follows. Shortly before Mr. Garland made the announcement recently about, Merrick Garland made a small statement about this search warrant, a person close to Mr. Trump reached out to a Justice Department official to pass along a message from the former president to the Attorney General. Mr. Trump wanted Mr. Garland to know that he had been checking in with people around the country and found them to be enraged by the search. The message Trump wanted conveyed, according to a person familiar with the exchange, was, "The country is on fire. What can I do to reduce the heat? What can I do to reduce the heat?" Now, this could be interpreted a couple of different ways. There is more than a couple, in fact. There is, of course, the kind of mob boss interpretation. This would not be new for Trump. Nice business you got here. Would really be a shame if something happened to it, right? The idea that a lot of people are angry here, Merrick Garland. A lot of people are angry. What can we do together so that those people will be less angry? And so one interpretation is these angry people, unless you do something to help me, might go after you. They might go after your family. They might go after FBI agents. And all of those individuals are receiving death threats, all sorts of security threats. We're going to talk about that in a moment because this is a group. Trump is a guy with a constituency. Constituency sounds almost more than it is, which is like a depraved cult following, with a constituency that is willing to do violence. We know that from January 6th. So that could be one interpretation. This is like a mob boss message to Merrick Garland. The second one is, is it possible I could get some kind of a plea deal? Could we do something to make this go away? Now, again, it's sort of more subtle and nuanced than I think Trump is known for, but it was through someone close to Trump, maybe someone with slightly better, capable of more nuance than Donald Trump. And so that would be, what can we do to calm everything down? Maybe you charge me with something minor and symbolic, and I plead guilty, and we go from there. It's not very much like Trump because Trump doesn't apologize, and pleading guilty is sort of like the legal version of an apology. It doesn't mean you actually are remorseful, but in a sense, you're admitting you did something wrong, at least to some degree. But of course, Trump would never actually do that. He would say, I agreed to do this. I agreed to plead guilty to this because otherwise the witch hunt would go on forever. It wouldn't allow me to run, all these different things. So that's another possibility. The third possibility is this is like a general tampering message of some kind, that Donald Trump is just trying to interfere with, in some way, contact the individual at the top of the organization that is involved in the investigation. It's not really clear. Now, of course, Trump could just take responsibility for what he did and say, I did the wrong thing here. It was unknowingly. I did the wrong thing, and that's it. But that is not what Trump does. Trump doesn't really take pleas. Trump doesn't apologize. Trump doesn't admit wrongdoing. So that's what we have as of right now. And it will be a matter of seeing where these attempted contacts to Merrick Garland go. Now, let's talk about the actual threats to individuals in law enforcement.